The new Olight PLX weapons light. Let's check it out. Guys, I'm an unapologetic fan of Olight. They just make some really innovative lights, high lumens. They have lifetime warranties. We've done tons of torture tests. And my first review with Olight was over 14 years ago, and I carry an Olight in my pocket for EDC every day. Now, Olight also does a number of other things, but weapons lights have been one that I've really enjoyed. But they have now upgraded to the PLX. This gives it more of a tactical form factor. We're going to do a comparison with some of the older Olight designs that they're still carrying, but also with Streamlight and Surefire. And one thing about the new PLX is it gives you a flood, which really brightens up a large area, but then you can go to spotlight, which really brings in that intense beam and a hot spot with peripheral light around it. So 1200 lumens, there's a lot of cool features, and again, it just fits to the handgun extremely well. And a big thank you to Olight for sending the PLX for this review. And you do get 10% off using SUIT00 with the link down below in the description. All right, guys, we have the Olight PLX Tactical Weapons Light. This is a 1200 lumen light. It has 22,500 candela, has a 300 meter beam distance. This is a pretty impressive light, and we're gonna look at a lot of the features that some of these are not on any other weapon light system. Now, Olight has had quite a bit of experience with weapons lights. In fact, the very first was their PL Valkyrie, and it works really well still. And this has been out for a number of years. Of course, this is discontinued. And we're gonna look at some of their other more current lights, which, guys, I'm a big fan. I like the Olight line, and they have a number of different options. And we're gonna be comparing it with the Surefire X300 Ultra and the Streamlight TLR1 HL. So these are some of the most popular lights in the country. A lot of military law enforcement use these. But the Olight PLX is definitely not only up to the task, but it exceeds a lot of the features of those two lights. Now, I have this on a Glock Model 19. It is one of the Gen 6s. We're going to drop the magazine, check the chamber, and we're going to be using this for the demonstration, but also a number of other guns as well, just to kind of show you a little bit about the fit, how it works. One thing about this right up front is the flat design. It's very narrow. It fits right with the gun, doesn't hang off, really forms well with the firearm. There are already, because this is going to be a big question, a number of different holster companies that have gotten behind the PLX. Now, you can go to Osight World and check it out, but I also have a diagram here. So there's a number, and there will be more to come. These are just for the pre-launch and getting things started. But Olight has become such a dominant force in the weapons light community. There are a ton of different holster options out there for a lot of their older lights. We're going to see a lot more with the PLX. So here we have just a number of different weapons lights that Olight has produced, and they go with the Valkyrie series, which is their larger, more lumens, and then they have their Baldor, and they have their PL Minis. And these are small weapons lights. These things are great. This one does have a laser. Some have light and laser. Some have just light. Of course, here's the original. And they have different ways to mount, which they have this mount, which is, honestly, I like this a little better. You can screw this in. It makes it really secure. Now, you can see where we've done torture test on this one. We have beat the fire out of it. But here we have the little paddle. And this has worked really well, and it just locks in. And we have some that have batteries that you insert, your CR123s, and then we have others that you use that magnetic charging capability. So there's just a lot of different options from Olight, but I think that where they're going now with the PLX, it's a total departure, even though they're still going to be carrying a lot of these lights. So let's get into a lot of the features of the light. First, you'll see that it does have 3 lenses, a big lens at the bottom and then 2 smaller lenses. This has a spotlight feature, but it also has flood, and it's really intuitive. So first off, we're just going to have it on the spotlight mode, and right here is how you switch it. So first off, all we have to do is we can push in and let go, and that's momentary. Quick push is constant on. Here you can see the spotlight. You see a peripheral flood around it. We're going to be testing that outside. But if you double press on your paddles, it goes to a low setting. And then we double click and we go to the higher setting. Now we're going to switch it to just the flood. And now we have that flood, double click, and it goes down to a lower setting. Now the double click actually is 1200 lumens. It's a wide flood. Again, it has 2200, 500 Candela. But really, to get that distance, you go to the spotlight. And that's where you get your 300 meter beam distance. So it really gives you the best of both worlds. And again, if you're indoors and you want to tone it down, you can just click it, and then you're going down to around 300 lumens, which is pretty decent for inside. Now we do have our screw mounts right here. This is where you push, and it opens it up and it sets it right on the rail. And then you just tighten this down to give you more traction. Here, it's an adjustable rail. And this is one thing that they've developed over the years. But what I can do is go ahead and just change the position of my pick rail. And so as I change it, I can set it wherever I want to, and that way, especially for smaller firearms, I can bring that in really close and get it up next to the trigger guard where most of those really subcompacts fit. And they do have a list where you can check that out. But this is a great way to be able to put it wherever you want to. And one of the things too about this is with a lot of the rail settings that are permanent, wherever it is where it goes. That way, when you put this on your rail, you can fit it right next to the trigger guard, and that just allows you to be able to get that finger up there really quick. And again, it is ambidextrous, so it's either way. But you can push it down or you can push it in. And so it gives you both ways to be able to do it. So here, if I just want to bring it down, I've got it. If I want to push forward, I've got it. That's pretty cool. And it's not an actual paddle that you have to flip over. Right here is where you toggle to get to the spotlight or the flood, and it's just one little pop. And actually, if you have it here, you can actually bring that up with your thumb. Now this does not have a laser, which a lot of their lights do. There'll probably be one coming. And this is an all aluminum, really nice matte finish. It's a hard type anodized finish. And then of course we have our 3 LEDs, which Olight went to specific LEDs. They wanted to make them. They were relying on a source, but they weren't pleased with it, and they have upgraded their LEDs. And guys, there is a huge difference. We also have mineral glass lens. A lot of times they'll use TLR lenses for some of their other lights, but this one just has the clear because of the different mode settings. But it has a great look to it. I mean, it looks very tactical. It fits, again, right next to your handgun, and it really blends with the handgun. And that's one thing that I really like, is that it gives you that feel, and it gives you that easier holster entry, and it's not sticking out of the front of the gun, and yet you're still getting 1200 lumens. Also, it is USB-C compatible. Now, we have an internal battery, and it's a 960 milliamp battery, lithium ion, and it gives you really extended run times. But even with the USB-C port, these have been sealed to where this is IPX7, which means that this can be submerged up to a meter for 30 minutes. So any kind of rain or bad weather, it's not going to affect the light. Now we can change this out from the 1913 Picatinny section to a Glock section as well. It's very simple. We have just a little screw here. We let it up and you just pop it in. But they also have what they call their anti-loosening ratchet. So once this is tightened down, it just locks into place. There are 4 points of adjustment right here, as we've shown, and this screw mount just locks that in. So as you tighten it up, it's going to just lock it in, it's going to lock onto the rail, and it's going to be really solid. And here we can see this is honestly just locked in there. And we're going to be doing some testing on this as well. We always like to do some torture tests just to see how the light holds up. And they are impact resistant up to 1.5 meters. Now there has been extensive testing done on these lights. In fact, in a single day, they put 10,000 rounds through a number of different firearms, whether it was handguns, 50 BMG, shotguns. I mean, they just tested a ton of rounds just to see there was not any flicker, there were not any problems. We haven't had any issues at all, and we've put this through the ringer. But guys, I've been testing Olights for a long time, and just like with this little PL Turbo, this thing, we beat the living daylights out of it and even ran over it, and they just continue to work. I found that with not only their weapons lights, but also with their standard lights. And with that, they have a lifetime warranty. So if you have any issues, they're going to take care of it, and you have a 30-day money-back guarantee and free shipping. So all that really works into a great light. Now right here above the toggle, if we push the light in, you can see the green that shows up, and that means that it's 60% and above battery life. Once this goes to yellow, it's 60 down to 10%, and then once it hits red, it's at 10%. And actually, you can charge this while it is on your firearm. With that little door, it just opens up and you're ready to charge. Now you get your USB-C cable, you also get your Glock adapter for your rail, and you get this tool. And this is a pretty cool tool. It actually fits right here, of course, with the screw, and this allows you just to turn it. Now there is a ratcheting system, and you can hear it ratchet when you turn this. But this also fits other points that you're going to need. This has a strobe feature, and so if you hit both buttons at one time, it comes on strobe. So as you have your trigger finger up front and you have that high ride grip, you can just adjust your grip, hit it, and now you have strobe. And then just hit it one time and you go back to your original setting. This is on low, and now we have the high. And again, 1200 lumens. It is really bright. The dimensions are 2.5 inches total length. The height is 1.25 inches, and the width is 1.25 inches. And it weighs 3.7 ounces. Now again, we have the Surefire X300 Ultra. This one comes in a 600 lumen option, but it also comes in a 1000 lumen option. Then we have the Streamlight TLR1 HL. This has 1000 lumens. And then we go to the Olight PLX, and we're going with 1200 lumens. 300 meter beam distance is going to give you a little more than the Streamlight or the Surefire. But guys, we're going to take these out and we're going to do a comparison between the three just so we can see the difference. All right guys, we have the PLX down at the range, and this is on the flood, which is 1200 lumens. It's a nice broad beam. You have a lot of light coming out. I mean, this is still a very effective light, and it gives you a real general area. Now let's switch to the spotlight, and we're getting a more intense beam, and it's really focused, but yet you have peripheral light on the side, which makes it good. Now we have the Streamlight TLR1 HL. 1000 lumens compared to 1200. The Streamlight is on the left, Olight is on the right. And so you can see right away that it definitely has a more intense beam. Still a lot of peripheral. Now we're going to the Surefire X300 Ultra. It's 600 lumens, so you're really dropping your lumens down. Again, you can get the 1000 lumen, but it's less than the PLX. So really with the Olight PLX, you're just getting better light transmission. And with the PLX, we have that really close fit, and then with the Streamlight, you're going to have it sticking out some, and then with the Surefire, it's really going to come out a pretty big distance. And this makes it a much larger light on your handgun, even the Surefire, but then when we come with the PLX, it really fits to the gun. And also, you do have it kind of hanging out on the sides on both of these lights. And to be honest with you, a lot of the original Valkyrie series, it did the same. I mean, it was pretty close form factor to the Surefire. So this is really a big upgrade even for Olight. Here we have a spotlight. We're going to double click down to the low. You're still getting a lot of light, but you can really brighten it up with the turbo. Now we're going to go with just the flood. See how that lights up that whole area. I mean, it really brightens things up. There we can get it to focus. And again, we're going to spotlight, and it just really pinpoints. We're going to bring it back out though, and you can see there is a flood around it. Again, double click, we go to the low, and we're going to flood again. Double click. Very visible area, but you have that power right behind it, 1200 lumens. All right, this is the beam at a little distance, and we have about 150 yards up there to that tree line behind the house. So, you know, you're getting a good bit of light. Now this is on the higher setting, so we're just gonna down it, double click, and we're still getting a lot of light out there. It's just dimmed down, double click, and we're back to our higher lumen setting. And you can see the house. Gives you a little more distance, a little more perspective. But then we're going to go to the flood. I mean, it shines up a large, bright area. And this gives you a lot to the side. You don't want to have your peripheral entrance to the light. You don't want it to be too focused because you want to see. So, just gives you a big broad area. And it's a little hazy out here because that upper terrace, I can see it a little better than I can on the camera. Well guys, we wanted to take it down to the range and do some night shooting. We took a Smith & Wesson 22 with a Banish 22 suppressor, and we just put some rounds down range just to keep the neighbors happy. We didn't want to shoot center fire. And it gives us a chance to really see how the light performs. While you're at the range, the spotlight, and just seeing how intense it is, and also with the flood, and toning it down at times, just trying a lot of different things. But there's no substitute for getting it out at night and seeing how it performs. But we also wanted to shoot it with centerfire handguns. So we brought 3 different handguns, and we brought the Glock Gen 6. We also brought the Shadow 2 by CZ and the Kimber 2K11 Pro, and just wanted to see with different handguns how it performed as well. And it, no flickers, no problems, and it held up extremely well. And then again, the torture test kind of proved itself to be a very durable light. So overall, range time, we were extremely pleased. Now when it comes to price, we're looking at $119.99. That's a great price, 1200 lumens, 2250 Candela, 300 meter beam distance, and they have a lifetime warranty. When it comes to the Streamlight, we're looking at $172 on Amazon, and that's 1000 lumens. When we come to the X300 Ultra from Surefire, we're looking at about $280, and that's 600 lumens. If you bump it up to 1000, it gets up to $342. That is more street price. One thing about the PLX is not only do you get free shipping, but you also get 10% off using Suit00 with the link down below in the description. So that just drops the price even more. And guys, these are 2 excellent lights, the Streamlight and the Surefire. I have a number of these, and they've been great lights. I really like them. I just think that the PLX, and we're going to see over time, but we have just better performance. But with the internal charging battery, some people are going to really gravitate toward those CR123s. You have it known, you know what it is. One thing though I like about the PLX is that it has that battery indicator, so I know where my battery life is. With these 2 lights, I don't really know where it is. And honestly, these lithium ion batteries, again, it's a 950 milliamp battery. They will take a number of charges without any problem. And to be honest, you can buy 2 of these for the price of the Streamlight and maybe 3 or 4 for the price of the Surefire. I mean, even this PL1 Valkyrie, it's still working just fine. Well guys, if you're looking for a weapons light and you want something that really performs well, I mean 1200 lumens, that's really bright, but the big deal here is the spotlight, and then you have the flood. So you have 2 different choices, the ease in manipulation and also with all the other features, and it just fits to the handgun extremely well. Plus, with their ratcheting system that is adjustable, you can fit this to almost any firearm that has a rail. Rifle, pistol, shotgun, I mean, these have been tested again with over 10,000 rounds in one day, and they just hold up. And a big thank you to Olight for sending the PLX for this review, and again, link down below in the description for 10% off using Suit00. And we really appreciate Olight for sending the PLX for this review. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. We're going to compare it to some of the old... Just pop open the... I've been carrying an Olight in my pocket for over 14 years. It's in fact one of the very first. So guys, if you're looking for an Olight well, here it is. Now here we have our standard spotlight. I'm going to double click. Beautiful light. I mean, it's definitely more of a something. This is like a submarine. And now we're going more to a tactical looking light. Well, I mean, what does that got to do with the whatever? Look at those, and we're going to look at them. And when we see them, we're going to go, wow, dude, that is really cool.